Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of this series where I'm building an app for a potential client and showing how to build the Noodle app from A to Z. So if you missed the previous videos, they're all in a playlist on my channel. I think with the name of the app, I Feel Good, in there somewhere. And so since the last video and this video, I made some changes. So apologies for skipping over those changes and not showing them to you, but I'm going to make up for it now by taking you through what I did and just showing where the changes came from. So the reason for these changes was because I actually gave a first demonstration to the potential client who did like the app, so I'm going to continue developing it, luckily. And maybe it can actually get put into production and we can see what happens, which is always nice to see when people really use an app. Like, how many times have you ever seen an app building series where at the end of it people actually use the app? Like, that's not something I've seen before, but maybe I haven't watched enough of them. But normally it's just building a template, and wouldn't it be nice if you could do this? And it'd be nice to show this actually working. So I hope we can show that in the near future. So the client has a logo already, which is this one. And I already put a profile picture up there. I think there was a place for a profile picture in the header because it's already, like, this menu and everything was already there. And I just added my profile picture. And I think what I did was so what did I do? I took the image and the icon. And I made the icon slightly bigger, 56 pixels, than no, I didn't. I made the group slightly bigger than the image. So I think I did it by accident, and then I saw like the gray outline around my image. And you've heard any of my videos, me talking about being a designer. I'm not a designer. I can't design to save my life. I don't know when things look good or not good. But I thought that gray outline is really nice around the picture. So that was an accident, just making the group slightly bigger pixel wise than the image. So at those 10 pixels becomes like a kind of border around the image, which is pretty cool. So proud of myself for that one. I put a line under the header. I put just a border, a bottom border under the header. No big deal. I can't remember if I tidied that up or not. I think I tidied up the spacing between the tasks. And then I put, the biggest one is I put the bar at the bottom there. So this bottom bar. So I made it really simple, just quick. I was like putting it together quickly for the demonstration, and it's just columns with layout string 111. That means that it'll give it like 3 spaces equally spaced out with no gaps, because I like to control the gaps myself and not with the columns node, because it's a bit of a funny node when you let it do horizontal and vertical spacing by itself. And everything is centered so that the icons are all centered, and then the repeater has this input, so a label and an icon, so that for each button I can throw up a label and put this through my Google icon generator to make a Google icon, which looks like this. So you've got the containing group. This I did because it helps with the columns to kind of just take up the whole space of what the columns is giving, and then within that do a group that's more like centered and with margins or whatever. I don't know if it's necessary, but that's what I like to do. Then the icon is taking its input from the one of the items that's being inputted into the repeater, and it's going through this little chunk of code, which is just to output the icon in a format that the icon node likes, which is an object with class and code. Class is material icons and code is chat. Don't know if you can do any other classes. I've never experimented with that. Maybe there's other kinds of icons that the icon node accepts. I'm not sure, but I'm sure somebody has done that. So maybe I'll get an answer in the comments. If you know, that would be great to hear about that, please. The icon and the text, and then when I click one of these, then it outputs the label, so that I can see when it's clicked, I get the label output. So if I click tasks, it outputs tasks. And then I use a router, which is just a switch to see which item was clicked. So it runs every time it's clicked. And if it was tasks, then it does output signal to tasks. and then stops looking for cases. And 2 tasks will take them to the main page, so the task page. So I'm hoping we'll be developing a progress page and a support page soon. The idea of progress was what I talked about last time, that I would like to make a screen where you can see day by day how many tasks you've done. So you get an idea of like how many points you got for a specific day. You did 5 out of 5 tasks, congratulations, and you did 5 days in a row, and then that can lead you to things like 5-day streak and those sort of gamified concepts. And support will be the money-making part for my client. The idea that support will take the person to a paywall to say, if you want more support, if you want personalized tasks and somebody checking in on you and being able to chat with someone on WhatsApp, then you can pay for one of the 3 or 6 or 9 month accompaniment plans. Plan where my client will accompany the person through this task, through doing these tasks every day and more, just on having a better lifestyle. So these are to be developed. And I was hoping maybe in the next video we'll do the progress screen. But right now, one point the client brought up, which is a very good point, is if this is going to be a mobile app, you can't just have somebody come in to the login page and just, you can't have someone just come into the login page and then log in and they immediately see the survey. It's like, what do I do with this? So the idea is that it should be an app that's available to the public, and that you wouldn't need, the best thing with an app is that you don't need some sort of prerequisite to use the app. You don't need to take a training course to use the app. You just need to read an intro that says, hey, welcome to the app. This is what you're going to be doing. And if you need help, there's this extra plan you can buy, but if not, the app is completely free and blah, blah, blah. So those are the kind of onboarding screens that you would expect to see in an app. So I would like to do those even before the login step, so that you come here, you log in once you know what the app is about, or otherwise you come here and think, I don't want to give my email address to somebody who I don't even know what this app does. So no, I'm not going to do that. So yeah, the idea would be that we create a page called, would it be a page or would it be a page called onboarding that then needs to log in? Yeah, a page called onboarding. That makes sense, doesn't it? So the onboarding page is going to become the default app page if a user is logged out. So how can we make that happen? I think hang on, let's just double check. What is currently the main page? So login is the main page at the moment. If the person is logged in, they go to the main page, which is here. And what we want to do is say, actually, onboarding is the main page. And if the user is logged in, they get taken straight from the onboarding page to the main page. So actually we're going to put this here instead. Oh, and here, I guess, but it doesn't really matter. But yeah, just in case they ever manage to get the login, maybe somebody's using the web version, or if there will be a web version, they manage to type in the direct page path. We don't want that to happen. So just in case, we'll leave it here as well. But onboarding is going to become the new default page. So in our page router at app level, we can specify which page is going to be the start page, which will be the root page. So this is the start page now. Okie dokie, so when you load the app, you're going to end up at the onboarding page, which is this one, the blank page that you see before you. So what we're going to need is a component stack, because we're going to have that classic 3 sort of card situation where you have like the first card says welcome to the app, next, then a description of the app, next, and then like what the paywall could be, or like what the in-app payment might be, and then next, and then you get to the login page. So we're going to need a component stack. We're going to need a router as well, so a function that will route from different pages. We're going to need, what else? Probably that's fine actually. Yeah. I'm wondering actually, am I being silly using a component stack? Because these pages are going to be quite similar. Maybe what we need actually is like a... No, I do want a component stack, because I want them to slide out and slide in. I don't want it. So I was thinking maybe I could just use a component, one component for the card, and then like feed in what the text and image and description and button text is going to be. But actually I would like them to be separate, because I would like them to sort of fly in and fly out. So I'm going to leave this here. And yeah, that's all. Okay, so we've got a component stack. This is going to be called Onboarding. And that's fine. And then we need the components themselves. So we need a visual component that's going to be called step 1. And step 1 is going to be a card. So it's going to be a 100% by 100% group. If we want to see what it looks like instead of me just being theoretical, let's add that to our component stack. Step 1 and step 1. So now we have a component in the component stack. And this will be the start page. It always ends up being the default sort of start page. So if I refresh, then we're active step 1. And I can change between step 1, step 2, etc. Now what do I want to do? I want to go into step 1. And we've got our group. And now I can show you what that'll look like by... We're going to get a background here. Let's make it something like green, and then I want another group inside there, which is going to be like a card. I would like it to be like a card. So like, let's make it 95% width and height, and color it green, maybe. Yeah, it could be nice. It's not 95% height though, is it? Viewport height. Yeah, it's better. And viewport width. It's funny the viewport height is shorter than viewport width. Let's make that 90. Yeah, it looks a bit weird. But anyway, we're going to give it a... So again, I'm not good with design, so I'm sorry if anybody's sort of cringing at this, but I'm doing my best. Give it like nice rounded border so it looks like a card. And then maybe a little shadow, just so we can see it kind of popping off the page a bit. Let's make it a bit darker. Now I want more blur, maybe. Blur, more spread. No. Yeah. Maybe a little bit of offset actually, just to let it look a bit kind of like it's going down or something. No, maybe not. Okay, so we've got our card. It looks not too bad. I'm going to reduce the shadow opacity a little bit, transparency I mean. Yeah, make it really nice and subtle. And then we're going to have an image and a text, like a title text, I think, and like a descriptive text, and then a like next button. So like next. Now the images I took from Pexels, which is a really nice site for getting free images, and I'm going to dump that into assets. So I'll put those 3 images into assets to show you what they look like. This one was nice, and this one was nice, and this one was also nice, I think. I'll put in all I've got 4 just in case. Alright, oh, I need to rename them. Don't leave things with funky names here, because it's a bit, the interpretation of the image address when you publish it can get a bit weird. Like if it's got capital letters here, it's not going to have capital letters when it gets published or something like that. It's weird. So I better just do, so this will be image 1. So food image 2. Food image 1, food image 3, food image 4. I could just describe them as well, but whatever. All right, so let's do one image as an example and see what that looks like. Nice, way too big. So let's do it 100 by 100. That looks good. A bit of padding. That's good. And then the title text. Remember this thing of like, don't leave it on the 100% width or else it'll start acting funny if you ever put anything next to it. So let's make it like a title and make it white. And we'll call it something like, welcome to our app. Welcome to the I Feel Good and Healthy app. There was a quote that my client had. It was something like, real change is the sum of small actions, or something like that. And the image looks really dumb, doesn't it? Anyway, but something like this would be a good start. I think the image needs to either be like the background of the whole thing, or can we make it like a cover? Oh yeah, okay, that would be better. And then can we make it like fixed? Oh yeah, that would be kind of cool. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, so now anyway, that's what are we going to do next. We are going to have a parent component object, because what we need now is we need this page to be able to signal to the outside that it's time to change components. So we're going to put a next button with a step 1 complete output, and that will be a signal. Oh no, not fetch. That will be a signal going from click to step 1 complete. So what you'll see then is in the component output at the top, component object, sorry, at the top, because we can't use component inputs and outputs with a stack. We have to pass stuff in through component objects. We can, I think, pass stuff in with the push component to stack node, I think, or out, one of the other, but I'm not using that here. I don't need that. So what we need is the component object to trigger something to happen. So when we have step 1 complete, we need it to push to step 2. So we need to also define that here. Step 1 complete doesn't automatically define. We need to do it every time manually. Step 1 complete goes to navigate. So we'll test it out. There you go. So step 1 complete is firing, and it goes to navigate. And then we're going to push to the onboarding stack. The target page is going to be step 2. We don't actually have one yet, but we'll get one. And what we're going to do is push it in, and it's going to fly in, I guess, from the left or from the right. I don't know how it works exactly. Shift distance. Dark overlay. Let's just see what that looks like. If we need to create a duplicate object. Step 2, just to see what it looks like. And I'll make them into components later, I promise. Okay, and then cool. See, slidey. So let's do that again. We don't want it to be right, we want it to be left. And then there was what was that thing about the overlay? So we had a crossfade. What does that do? This is the first time I've ever used the push without the replace. I usually use replace. It just swaps out one component for another. But I saw a client using the push to get a menu to come in, and I thought that looked really nice. The thing is that we have to also pop, I think, pop component stack. Do you create app style navigation? Yeah, so I think we pop it first. Do we pop one of them? Yeah. And I think that's where you can actually get stuff coming out of the component as well. But anyway. So what happens then? If we click next. Yeah, that's better. So it's kind of popping out the original one and popping in the new one. I think it's necessary because otherwise, it's probably not really that important. What's happening is that the step 1 component has now the step 2 component over the top of it, is what I've understood. So yeah, I think that's. Yeah, actually no, maybe not. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. It's just doing the same action again because I've got a duplicate component. So I think that looks nice. Are there any other things we could play with? Shift distance, let's try that. Change it to 100%, what does that do? Not really much. Take off crossfade. Okay, take off the dark overlay. Yeah, that's a bit smoother maybe. Without the dark overlay, it was a bit weird with dark overlay. Ah, I see, crossfade. Yeah, it kind of like fades one out and fades one in. That's cool, I like that. Dark overlay amount, we don't care. Timing, oh yeah, I don't know how to work these things. I think that one was nice. Yeah. Okay. So that's pretty cool. Let's pop up. No, don't want that. Switch it back. Yeah, this is good. I think that looks good. That's a kind of classic onboarding thing. Maybe increase the timing a little bit. It's a bit too fast. It's a bit scary. This is supposed to be a healthy app for cam. Yeah, that looks that's better. This is just me muddling through the design. I'm doing the best I can. I really am. Don't think shift difference made any difference at all, but anyway. Okay. We put it to 0. What does that do? That says, oh, okay, it's kind of like how does it shift when it starts moving or something like that? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Okay, so I think you've had enough of that for now. Oh, in and out, that's cool. Ooh, funky. Okay, I think right was good, wasn't it? Yeah. Okay. Or was it left? No, left is better. Okay, now I'm really done, I promise. I'm not going to keep playing with this all day long. But that is good. I don't even need my router function actually. This will just keep it easy. So I think I'll make 3 step components. I have to have a think about what the style is going to look like because at the moment it looks really weird. And you see that the component stack has like 100 step 2s. And yeah, that's the concept is in place. Now I need to work on the design and style, and maybe I'll come back and not waste your time and show you what I've come up with when I've got the style in place. But I think that was an interesting short video just to show the concept of component stack and the concept of pushing and popping, even if the pop didn't exactly work, but we'll get it working next time when we have all the right components in place. And yeah, I think we could definitely be making a nice onboarding screen from here, where in the end, of course, it's going to navigate to the login screen. So that's got to be a final step. Go to login. So that will work great. Okay, so that'll do for now, and I hope to see you in the next video. And if you want to stay up to date, please do subscribe. I'd love to have you on my channel, and I look forward to seeing you next time.